last time. I encourage you to make a copy so that if you mess up this file, you don't have to start from scratch. You can start from the copy of what you saved last time. So today we are going to do something extremely exciting. We first of all want to transform this into a table because we saved it as a pivot report. We are going to save it as a table. So I'm first of all going to rename this sheet. You can double click on it or right click and rename it into a table. I want to create a table there. Then I'll click here to create another worksheet. Right click to rename it into the pivot tables. So we are going to create a number of pivot tables. And after we create the pivot tables, we are going to use them to create a dashboard. So I'll add one more, rename dashboard. Awesome. So let's click on what you saved last time. I'm simply going to go back to the connection. So if you go to data, under queries and connection, you'll find this. Click on it. It's going to take us to the connection we had. On your right, you will find this. I will right click on it. Whatever name you use to save your data, you'll have it here. I'll right click on it. Right click, go to load to. Rather than using pivot table, click on table. Make sure you have existing worksheet. So do not take new worksheet, existing worksheet. I want to place it here in table. I'm going to click here and I will OK. It's going to ask a question. I'll just say OK. What is it? It's telling me this will be completely deleted because I'm trying to create a table connection here. I'll OK. And yeah, it went pretty fast. So I'll click here. And here is my table. We are done with step 1. The next step, we want to create 8 pivot tables. The first 4 pivot tables will be looking at the relationship between the indicators and the different countries across time, and then we will focus. Well, let me stop talking and let's just start creating it. So I'll come here and click inside of this table that has been created. If you click on table design, you can see the name. It's sample WDI. So each time we want to create a pivot table, we will be using this table called sample well development indicators. So I'll go to insert to start with the first pivot table. This is not the most efficient way of doing it, but we want to be repetitive so that by the time you are done with it, you can never forget the steps. So I'll go to insert pivot table from table range. This is the table range. From table range, I'll click. It automatically selects sample world development indicators. I don't want it to be in a new worksheet. I want an existing worksheet. So I'll click here. Where is my existing worksheet? I'll click on pivot tables. I'm going to click on A4, cell A4. This is it. You can see it's placing it under pivot tables, the sheet called pivot tables A4. OK. And here we go. So right now I want to look at how these different indicators change across time. The first thing I'll do is to take year. When I bring year here, pivot table will change it and will break it down into years and quarters. So I'll click on year, hold, drag, place it under rows. Now you can see it has broken it down into quarters and years. I'm going to click on quarters, pull it out, click on year, pull it out, and exclusively leave years. So these are the years. The next thing I will do is to now take the different indicators and place it here. one by one. So I'll start with greenhouse gas. I'll click Hold, Pull, and Release. This is our first table. We are done with the first table where we look at how total greenhouse gas changes across time. The next table we want to produce will be how methane changes across time, and so on. So I'll go to Insert again, Pivot. No, before I do that, I'll go to Tables. Make sure you've clicked inside, Insert, Pivot Table, from Table Range. Make sure Table Range is Sample WDI, Existing Worksheet. Click on Pivot Tables. Click here to insert the next one. OK. And we will take Yes with S, put it where we have rows. Take methane. Click, hold, drag, and drop it there. That's it with the next one. We go back to Tables, Insert, Pivot Tables, from Table Range, Existing Worksheet, Pivot Tables, click at G4, OK, go to Yes with S, put it under rows, take CO2, drop it in values. And that is it for the relationships across time. Actually, I thought we had 4 indicators. We have only 3. That's fine. We'll leave it as it is. So that means, yeah, that's fine for now. The next we want to do is to combine all of them on one. So we'll go back to Table, Insert, Pivot Tables, and Existing Worksheet, Pivot Tables. I'll click here. OK. Yes. Where we have the rows. And we will check all the box of all these indicators. So I'll start with greenhouse gas, methane, CO2. So we combine all of them. So we've done the first 4 tables. We are going to do the last 4 tables immediately. We go back to table. You see it's repetitive so that you can remember the steps. Insert, Pivot Tables, from Table Range, Pivot Table Worksheet. We go to 34, A34, OK. Let's see, you cannot use a selection of just one row. Okay, let me see what's happening. Okay, I'll redo the steps. I have the impression there was something crazy that went wrong. From Table Range, Sample, Existing Worksheet. Let's come here. I'll click here. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what happened last time. Surely I made a mistake. When I watch the video, I will likely see what happened. But it's the same step. You change nothing. Now, I don't want to use yes. I will use country name. So I'm going to click here, drag it, put country name where we have rows, and start the process all over again. Now, it's going to be total greenhouse gas. You can click, drag it there, or you can just check it. Pivot table understands you want to put it there. So I'll start the process again. In principle, when you look at these numbers, they should be the same, okay? Because it's the sum of greenhouse gas by countries. Here you have the sum of greenhouse gas across time of all the countries. So they should be the same. Go back to table, insert, pivot tables, from table range, existing worksheet, pivot tables, click here, OK, country, name, and I will check methane. There we go, the same amount. Go back to worksheet table, insert, pivot table, from table range, existing worksheet, pivot tables, click on G34, OK, take country name and put it here, and finally we have CO2, same value. That's great. Go to the last one, table, insert, pivot tables, table range, existing worksheet, go to worksheet, pivot tables, click on J34, OK. Now we want country name where we have rows, and we are going to check all of this: greenhouse gas, methane, CO2, and you can see the total is there. That is amazing. We just finished the first part where we created a table, we created pivot tables. In the next video, we are going to generate charts for all of these 8 tables, and we will place it on a dashboard and mess around with it using slicers and timeline.